if you're not careful. So it's going to be a good challenge for us all the way across the board, at every position to make sure that we respect the preparation process this week just like we did last week. And that was probably the thing I was most proud about, from the offensive standpoint, is they really, really, respected and appreciated the preparation process, and they were able to come out and play clean.
Tony, what's a message this week? Because I know these guys are probably like, hey, we've been going hard 2 months. We finish this game, we get a week off.
Well, it's the biggest game of the season. It's a conference game. These guys, they want a piece of us just like everybody else wants a piece of us. So we can't focus on next week. All we can focus on is where our feet are. That's today. And again, I know I get running. You probably get tired of hearing me saying, but mental Monday to no good Tuesday, and that's going to be the point of emphasis, and really taking the momentum out of the last week's game and carrying it into this game. And up to the first half, especially with the veteran guys, they play their best half of football. I mean, let's carry that forward, and let's have the challenge every single week to top what we did last week and make each week the best performance that we've had all year. So there's a lot of things to get these guys motivated, to not to have them looking ahead to the open date.
Is playing a defense like Clemson in practice in fall camp, does that help when you come up with a team against a team like North Carolina that's very multiple? Does that help game planning wise, or just?
It helps me to calm my nerves a little bit when you cut on the film and you see so many different things. Then you're able to say, hey, look, we go against Brent in our defense every single day, and so we have the answers. We just got to go back and revisit some of the thoughts that we had in fall camp and preparation process, and so it gives us confidence knowing that, hey, we're going to find the adjustments. We're going to find the right schemes to get our guys in, and so it just gives us confidence, to go back and just rest on our experience that we've had on our own practice field. But again, you got to tip your hat to what Coach Bateman is doing with those guys up in North Carolina.
I'm sure you've seen some crazy things over all your years here as a player and coach. Where does the fact that you guys head to the locker room and Disney is filming a movie at halftime, we got fake Clemson Tigers running down the hill on the field, where does that kind of rank up?
That was pretty cool. It was pretty cool, pretty interesting, and I was trying not to pay any attention to it, So all of a sudden I look up and I'm pretty mellow. I try to stay quiet, other than when I'm calling the plays on the headset or when I'm directing traffic trying to get something corrected. But I say, hey boys, look, they got the guys at the top of the hill, and then Coach Sweeney looks up and says, hey, the real Tigers on the field and the Hollywood Tigers on the hill. So it was pretty neat experience. And wish would have had an opportunity to see how it operated, because that probably would have been pretty fascinating. I understand they did it in a matter of, I heard, and I may not be accurate on this, but I heard somebody say they might have shot 50+ scenes in like 6.5, 7 minutes. So that's pretty cool.
Is there, though Trevor talks about it, the players talk about it all the time, Brent, and some of the stuff that he comes up with in practice, and has there ever been a moment out on the practice field when you're like, dude, we're in week 2 at fall camp, why would you run that? Or he's just totally come up with something that surprised you?
That's day one. I'm not waiting till it's not. And again, and I have to remind the offensive staff, because again, there's a progression that we want to teach you, especially offensively, with the way that we install, and a lot of times things don't marry up, and we understand that. And so I just have to remind the guys, hey fellas, let's not get frustrated, man. Let's just put on our thinking caps and let's figure out. And then the problem is that's every single day, because as soon as you fix one thing, right, then he comes with something else. But again, it goes back to that gives us confidence, when we play, especially when you're transitioning from playing last week, where they pretty much lined up and gave you a base look pretty much every play, to now, I mean, you're going to get so many different things, from play to play. It's not just from series to series, play to play. So that actually starts on day 1 and it goes through day 29 of fall camp. But again, that's really what's made us, go on offense over the years, is because it challenges us, physically on the field. It challenges us mentally, and it makes us grow as coaches, which in turn helps our players to grow.
Jake Bateman, the defensive coordinator at UNC, spent 5 years in Army. They have to be so technically sound. Can you see part of that Army influence and what he's been able to do at UNC?
Of course, because you can see the coordination, especially when you watch the defensive line when they're transitioning from being 4-down penetrators to that odd front where they're 2-gap guys. You can tell that their steps are coordinated. They play well with their hands, so you can definitely see that. Obviously, more time at Army, 5 years, a little bit more consistency. So on the back end, he challenges those guys. So they're still trying to figure out how some of the coverage concepts fits. But you definitely can see that in that box, those guys they're on the same page.
Tony, the progression of Sean at center, Cade also at center. Are you pleased with what they have done in the progression the way that because they're your signal callers for your offensive line.
Definitely. I think you go back to, and I say this, and this is just my opinion, but I think when we became, a true championship, program to compete year in and year out is when we were solid up the middle, from the center to the quarterback, and that started with Jay. And just his growth as a center, and it's carried over, and I think that's kind of created a tradition at that center position of those guys taking a lot of pride in the responsibility that they have. And Sean is a very, very cerebral football player, and I think that now he's played all the position, but he's really, really found a home, at center, because he can direct traffic, and he's done a really, really good job. Even on the first play of the game, I got the question after the game about the 2-yard game. Well, they came out in a completely different, look than we expected. And the great thing was, as soon as we came to the sideline, Sean was able to articulate it. He said, hey, look, that was a corner down, had a 3 technique to that side. I wasn't really sure about making the plus point, so I pointed to the middle guy, and, hey, that's exactly what we wanted you to do. So just his growth and maturity and the confidence that he has. And the same thing with Cade. Cade's a guy that had to play out at Texas A&M, for us last year. And he's doing a really, really good job. And so we put a lot of onus on the centers, to make sure the backs are coordinated to keep the quarterback protected. So I'm really pleased with the progression, and I think they're going to continue to get better as we going throughout the course of the season.
Tony, how important was it the game that Joseph Ngata had, a touchdown catch for him, for his confidence going forward?
I think it was huge, for him. He's a guy that's I don't think I've gotten 2 words out of him other than yes, coach, yes, coach. You say something to him, that's all he says, yes, coach, yes, coach. And not only does he say that, the next play, he's trying to do it exactly, the way that you want it to do. And so for him to have an opportunity to get in there and make a couple big plays, get in the end zone, I think that's just going to continue to push him to perform at a high level. So I think that was big for him, and that's what I told him, for the game. And your time's coming. Just be patient. Don't grow weary. That's a principle in our program we talk a lot about. Don't grow weary in doing what's good, for you'll reap the reward at the proper time. And his proper time was the last Saturday. All right. Appreciate it.